I imagine there'll be a lot of emotions, being senior night, last night at Faroe, but I'm excited. It's been a good 5 years here. I feel like, they always talk about leave it better than you found it, and I would say the program's in a better position than when I got here 5 years ago.
Questions right there? Sorry.
Connor, how do you think your career arc, I guess, kind of represents or embodies the, kind of development that a player can go through at Missouri to, come in as a 3-star and then be a 4-year starter in the SEC?
Yeah, I think, making the most of opportunities, I would say, is where it started. Getting to play when I was young. I would say also a lot of it has to do just hanging around at one place necessarily, staying somewhere for 5 years instead of, maybe hitting the portal a few times and being at multiple different spots, I would say also helps with development.
Okay.
Connor, when you guys have gone back and looked over the last 3 games, has there been a common theme to the offensive struggles? Has it been something different every week?
I would say, finishing when you get an opportunity to cross the 50, you look to score points. I think in versus Texas A&M in the first half, it was 3 times and we didn't come away with any points, And then previous weeks, we had opportunities, and I would say we just weren't successful at making the plays, And ultimately, practice is where we're going to get better and just working at it.
Connor, how is Texas A&M's front 7 challenging you all as an offensive line, especially on 3rd down?
Yeah, they were good. They had some good schemes dialed up for what we were doing. We tried our best to stay out of them. 3rd and longs, they were number 1 in the country, so they're pretty good on that. And ultimately we'll just watch the film and go back to practice and try to correct those issues.
Coach Drake was saying that he saw confidence from Matt in practice the other day. How have you kind of seen him, obviously so young, turning the page from that loss against Texas A&M?
It wasn't like he went against a real bad defense. I mean, for that to be your first start, it's going to be tough for most guys, him being a freshman. I think he got some really good experience to go against a defense that good, and ultimately you're just going to build off of it and, learn from those mistakes and hope to make them in the future.